Here in 2.3, we're going to find real zeros of polynomial functions, and we've done that already when we were able to factor polynomials. But what happens when you can't factor something? Well, what we did on, I think it's problem 37 back in 2.2, was we had to use a quadratic formula. Well, you can only use a quadratic formula when you have an x squared. So if we have something that's bigger than an x squared, so say an x cubed, then that means we have to use either long division or synthetic division. So long division is it's a little bit more tedious than synthetic division, but sometimes you have to use long division when you can't use synthetic. So if we look at our first example here, we're going to take this x to the third minus 2x squared minus 9, and we're going to divide by x minus 3. So if we put this x minus 3 on the outside, and then underneath we're going to have your x to the third minus 2x squared. Now the problem is we're going x to the third, x squared. We don't have an x to the first, so you need to put in a placeholder and then put minus 9. So what we want to do is we don't look at the entire function. What you want to look at for this is you want to look at just the x and that x to the third. Because when you simplify, you're not worried about the rest of the function, but you're worried about this first term here and this first term on the outside. So if you take x to the third divided by x, if you just focus on that, that's going to give you x squared. X squared is what goes on top. Now this x squared has to be multiplied by this x. It also needs to be multiplied by the negative 3. So we're going to take x squared times x, that gives us an x to the third, minus 3x squared. And when we divide these, we also need to subtract. So you are going to be subtracting this entire red line here, this red row. So we're going to make that a negative, makes that positive. When you make this negative in front, the first term should cancel, and then you just add straight down. So we have a negative 2 plus a 3 gives us just a 1x squared. And then you need to bring down your 0x. So you're going to have a plus a 0x. Now, you are no longer worried about this entire polynomial up here. You are only worried about this x squared plus 0, and you're not even worried about the plus 0. You're just worried about just the x squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this x squared and divide that by x. So if you take x squared divided by x, that gives you an x, a positive x, which you put on top. Same as what we did with the x squared, you have to take x times x, and then we're going to take x times a negative 3, so you get x squared minus 3x, and you can't just add those down, because if you added those down then you'd have a 2x squared here. You have to subtract, change all your signs, so the x squareds cancel, add these down, and you get a 3x minus 9, because you have to bring this 9 all the way down. So now you are worried about your x and your 3x. So you're only taking 3x, gosh dang it, you're only taking 3x divided by x. When you do that, you get just a plus 3. So plug a 3 in, or multiply 3 times everything. 3 times x is going to give you a 3x. 3 times negative 3 gives you a negative 9. And when you change all your signs here, you get a negative 3x plus 9. Cancel, cancel. You have a remainder of 0. Remember, this is called your remainder. So if you don't have a remainder, that means your final answer ends up just being x squared plus x plus 3. And that's how you do long division.